Hello and welcome to the Completely Biased podcast, where me and Trevor are not sitting at a poker table, but we're in an actual studio.
The poker table feels left out now.
It does. And we'll go back to the poker table eventually. We'll set up a whole thing. But right now we've got these nice mics.
Well, my wife's probably upset because she set it up all nice for me and cleaned up the room, and the poker table's got the mic on the middle and it's ready to go, and we're in the studio now.
Hey, but like I said, we're gonna go back to the poker table because we're gonna do this whole video thing, and we're gonna make it all nice. But right now we've got these nice mics. We're in the studio. I was in the studio today, and Trevor just rolled on by. I was recording a different podcast, and he dropped in on that one and ruined my flow.
Ruined your flow?
Yeah, I was so confused after that. I didn't even know where I left off.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry, not sorry.
But anyways, today on this podcast, we are talking about the NBA. The NBA's, the season's going along. It's starting to take shape, starting to take form.
We missed a couple weeks there, a week and a half for
Thanksgiving. We did miss a week for Thanksgiving, but, now the NBA season's in full swing, I would say.
For the most part, yeah.
We're almost 2 months into it. A month and a half.
It is kind of funny to think about that, right after Thanksgiving, we're a month and a half already.
I know, because it used to start off on Halloween.
Yeah.
Starts off a lot earlier now. We're in the thick of it. Teams are moving. Pretenders have already shown their faces.
Orlando, we're looking at you.
Orlando, Clippers. And speaking of the Clippers, Blake Griffin, was news last night that Blake Griffin injured his knee and is going to go for reevaluation.
Man.
But I was 1,000% wrong about the Clippers. And I even had you on my side after the first 5 games.
You had me move in that direction.
They were 4-0, and then now they've dropped They're 8 and 12.
Well, they're on a winning streak, aren't they? Haven't they won 3 in a row? They've won 3 in a row after they dropped 7 in a row.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were 4-0.
Yeah, they were 5-2, and then they lost 9 in a row, and then they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah. With the Blake Griffin thing, they were really, really bad off last week when Patrick Beverley ended up saying he's out for the season, or
he's out for the season now. I'm pretty sure.
So that was a big hit to them, and now Blake Griffin has a history of knee injuries and stuff, and it's really sad for Blake Griffin though, because he started off the year really, really well. He kept playing really, really well, even though the team wasn't really producing.
And we talked about this in the very first podcast. He's injury prone. They're injury prone.
Yeah, and you just want to see them, especially Blake Griffin, because he's not a great guy. I was gonna say he's a great guy. You just want to see him succeed. But he did punch out his trainer or whatever last year. So
yeah, nice guy.
But you don't want to see these stars go down.
No, you don't want to see
it. It lessens the NBA. But this cements the fact that their season's probably over. And we don't know the extent of Blake Griffin's injury, but
goodbye, DeAndre Jordan.
So you think that's where this is going?
He's a free agent. You got to get rid of him now.
But where do you see them going with this?
I still can't believe that Cleveland won't give up Tristan Thompson for him.
I don't know what's the big deal about Tristan Thompson.
I don't get it either. I like Tristan Thompson. He's a good player. He plays hard. He rebounds. But I don't even like DeAndre Jordan, and it's DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan's much better rim protector and much better rebounder than Tristan Thompson.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, late in games, you're going to miss a lot more free throws, but
it's not like Tristan Thompson's the best free throw shooter in the world.
Tristan Thompson doesn't even know what hand to shoot.
Yeah. He does shoot 67%, which is better than DeAndre's, but DeAndre's an elite rim protector. Even though, for how much you don't like him, he's still an elite rim protector. He's still an elite rebounder.
I agree. I agree completely.
That's exactly what Cleveland needs. If they want to play Kevin Love, they need someone like DeAndre Jordan to back him up.
That's the thing, is when you're going to get to when you get to the finals to play Golden State, who's going to stop Kevin Durant from just rolling to the rim?
Exactly.
Even LeBron can't use his energy covering Kevin Durant, so LeBron's going to be shadowed off on.
If you want to have Kevin Love in the lineup, you need someone like a DeAndre to protect the rim, because Kevin Love, well, I think he's still a pretty good player. It's just not.
His defense is only good in the last 5 seconds of games, and that's it.
When he's covering Stephen Curry.
When he's covering a point guard, yeah.
And he's locking him up, moving it, his hands are moving.
Did he lock up Kemba Walker a couple days ago in the last?
He just he gets that thing where it's oh my gosh, all eyes are on me. I have to stop this guy right now. He just becomes a superhuman. He's just
oh, Kevin Love.
So you think DeAndre, that's the move that's going to happen? I don't see them trading Blake Griffin, even though
he just signed. So
with this sign, I definitely think if anyone's going to get traded, it's DeAndre. I could definitely see Doc being fired now. Now that they don't have anything really to go for, maybe just starting off new.
Well, this is what Doc. I mean,
or do you think it's a whole regime change? It's going to be
they should.
It's going to be Doc's out, and then DeAndre is going to be moved, and the only piece that they keep is Blake Griffin and maybe Lou Williams. And
I would say Blake Griffin stays. I don't know if they Lou Williams. I would say Doc's out. They're going to probably get. They could honestly go for. I mean, we'll get to it. They'll probably go for David Fizdale, but I think that they just need to build around Blake. I guess pray that he doesn't get injured again. But I mean, DeAndre's gone. I think Lou Williams is a free agent after this year, if I'm not mistaken. You gotta let Doc go. You just
with Doc gone,
start over.
With Doc gone, do you? Because he's still a young player. Do you hold on to Austin, or do you let him go too?
No, you gotta let Austin Rivers go.
So Doc goes, Austin goes. Who would you hold on except for Blake Griffin?
Gallinari. I would hang on to Patrick Beverly.
I would too. I like him as a culture changer.
Yeah, I agree completely. And if you want if you want to get you can kind of choose what kind of coach you want. You can get kind of like a grind coach. A guy who wants his point guard to go out there and harass other guards. That's kind of what you're looking for in Patrick Beverly. I mean, if they start over, you can build around Beverly, Danilo, and Blake Griffin, and they'll be okay.
Yeah,
and whatever you get back from DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, and I think. See, the thing is, they started off so well, with this defense thing, and they just all broke down. So I don't think Doc's gone. I think that's there's no way you can defend Doc now. It's not like this team doesn't have talent.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you've had a kind of bad luck with injuries as of late, but you were losing before Patrick Beverly went down. You were losing before Blake Griffin went down. So
I think the biggest thing about them is they're terrified to go back to what they were 8 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, because they were the joke of the NBA.
Once they, get rid of Doc, it's like an end of an era finally, and I would probably say that they're scared of where do they go next from here. But I think you just got to rip it off like a Band-Aid and move on from it. But you were mentioning David Fizdale, and that was another big news of the last few days. David Fizdale fired as the coach of the Memphis Grizzlies because he sat Marc Gasol for 18 minutes the last 18 minutes of the game.
It shows star-driven league.
Star-driven league, but still, David Fizdale is at least what we thought was a really good coach. Maybe there had to have been something before. That could not have been the only thing.
No, I'm guessing there was some. I mean, they lost 8 games in a row. B, you lose or you bench Marc Gasol. I think there's just tensions were high. But ever since Conley went down, they're not even competing.
But like I was saying in the beginning of the year, they're so reliant on Mike Conley and Marc Gasol. If one of them went down, you were going to see the effects, and it's
You're right. I thought they could be able to be healthy.
I mean, if they were healthy, we don't know because they were. When Mike Conley was in there, they were kind of wavering anyways.
Yeah, they were 7-4. Then they lost I think 2 games, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I still think they would be fighting for the 8th seed if he was healthy, but they just don't have much firepower without him. And he kind of is like a point guard that makes. He's one of the point guards in the league that makes everyone better. Mm-hmm. So all the other talent around him is much worse without him in the lineup. And Tyreek Evans has done a really, really good job instead of Mike Conley, but Tyreek Evans is, score,
right,
drive to the basket. So he does pass. He's not a bad passer, but it's just not the same as Mike Conley.
He's not a bad passer. He's
not like a floor general.
Yeah. I mean, they've had some good resurgence. They had some from Chandler Parsons, who is starting to look like Chandler Parsons from a couple of years ago, not like the one was it last year who just averaged 6 points a game. And I mean, his averages aren't great right now, but at least he looks better. But this is where I'm gonna kind of get confused. When Conley went down, they lost 6 or 7 in a row. I was starting to kind of agree with you that they might trade Marc Gasol, but now they fire Fizdale.
I know.
So are they just saying we're all in on Marc Gasol?
See, if you're gonna go all in on a player, though, I don't see why you go all in on Marc Gasol and not Mike Conley.
I agree. I mean, Mike Conley's locked in, so he's going to be in Memphis for a while. But Marc Gasol is 30, 31.
Maybe the front office still thinks that this is like a good team that they can win with.
Maybe.
Which is what I disagree with. I think they need to do some moves just to get more firepower in there. And maybe they just think, like, we can do it with this roster. We just didn't have the right coach. And that's why they pulled the trigger on the Fizdale thing. And Marcus All came to them and said, me or the coach or whatever. And then they chose
It just
him,
seems like a premature move. I know you lost 8 in a row, but you can't fire a good coach, especially when your best player isn't playing.
This wasn't this wasn't Watson for the Phoenix Suns losing 3 in a row for the Phoenix Suns. This was the Grizzlies, who have been in the playoffs the last 7 years. And David Fizdale.
Yeah, and think about, like, in kind of the opposite, or in the same situation as the Clippers, like, they were nothing. And then Mike Conley and Marc Gasol get there, and then they go to the playoffs a bunch of years in a row under Lionel Hollins and David Fizdale, and now you're just letting them go.
And Lionel Hollins was another guy that got, like, maybe this is something with the Grizzlies front office, because Lionel Hollins was another coach that just kind of got yanked out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and then everyone was like, "Wait a minute! They just made the playoffs 3 years in a row."
And they were like, they're competing with the Spurs, who were the powerhouse of the West before the Warriors really took over. They competed with the Warriors too. They were up 2-1 on them, and
and then Lionel Hollins is out, and then
exactly.
Maybe it's just maybe the front office of the Grizzlies just has a really, really quick trigger finger, but
I don't get it.
Well, we'll have to see. Like, where do you think this goes for the Grizzlies? Do you think one of those? Do you still think? I still think one of those 2 players has to be moved before. I
think they should. Now I'm with you on they should, but I also think New Orleans should trade Anthony Davis, and they're not going to do that either. So, it's when they end up losing a bunch of games, but their mind's going to change come February. If let's say DeAndre Jordan doesn't get traded yet, and Cleveland comes knocking and say, "We'll give you Thompson in the pick."
Look at all the bigs that we're talking about possibly on the move: DeAndre Jordan, Marc Gasol, Anthony Davis,
DeMarcus Cousins. I'm just letting you know right now, I think DeMarcus Cousins gets dealt. He's going to be mad when February comes and his numbers or his points per game scored are in the teens because Rajon Rondo is like taking over the lineup.
And we kind of
we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. But so that was crazy. Another crazy thing. You kind of put this on, but Trevor sent me this news and topics thing to talk about, and he underneath David Fizdale or Marc Gasol, like the whole discussion that he has Giannis stuffed.
Well, I know we did the awards at the beginning of the year, and we had fun with it and did like best block. I mean, Derek Favors, someone who just like looks like who gets dunked on all the time, who doesn't really jump, goes up and stuffs Giannis Antetokounmpo at the rim, and just takes the ball away from him.
Yeah, it was a pretty great block. I didn't see it like you showed it to me when you walked in because I was like, Giannis stuffed. And you're like, did you see the block for Derek Favors on Giannis? I was like, no.
Well, if you ever ask the question, did you see the block from Derek Favors? I think that's all automatically a no.
I was like, no. And then he was like, yeah, he stuffed Giannis and took the ball away from him. I was like, okay. But yeah, I mean,
it's a pretty good block.
It was a pretty good block, and probably the front runner for block of the year so far. But there's still time.
There is time.
There's still time for his teammate
Donovan Mitchell
to take his crown.
Yeah, I mean,
my prediction. That was my prediction for the best block of the year. If you haven't listened to that episode,
I had Avery Bradley.
You had Avery Bradley. We both went the guard route.
It's so much more fun when the guard blocks a big man.
It is. So imagine if Donovan Mitchell did that to Giannis.
That would be sick.
Exactly.
I mean, LeBron has his chase down blocks, but they're not impressive anymore. Like,
it's LeBron.
I know.
Nothing LeBron does is impressive, and it's really, really unfair to him.
What a loser.
What a loser. He's the best basketball player in the world. Second best basketball player probably of all time.
Yeah.
And he just, he's the loser.
Yeah.
That's what he is. Okay. And then you wanted to talk about pretenders and contenders.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about some teams. What do you think they're
All right, just fire them away at me.
Detroit, 13-6, number 2 seed in the East. Are they going to contend?
So when we say contenders, do we mean contend for like
I'm gonna
top 4 teams in the East? Or
I'll be nice and I say, can they contend?
Because there's really only 3 contenders.
I know. Can they contend to be in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Contender.
Wow.
Contender.
You think they can knock off Boston or Cleveland to get there?
I mean, they beat Boston yesterday, and they scored the most that Boston's given up all season. And their offense looked really, really good. Andre Drummond played amazingly. Tobias Harris was, I think he started off 5 of 5 from deep, and then ended up 5 of 6. He airballed his last shot, but he looked really, really unstoppable offensively. Avery Bradley looked
31-8 from Tobias last night.
Yeah, and Avery Bradley looked, because I watched that entire game. That was probably the best game